Okay, here we are, and I just want to talk a little bit about greasing some more. So we've got a grease gun hooked up here now, and so that's what it looks like. And when you push it onto the nipple, you should feel a little click. Sometimes you have to hold that there, otherwise it pops off and you just squirt grease around the nipple and you're not actually going in. So that's the first thing, is to make sure that your grease nipple is taking grease. And sometimes you need to take that out and just change the nipple. Grease can get kind of hardened and old and full of rust and stuff. So there's kind of two different ways of greasing. So one is it a sealed cavity, or is it something that grease can come out and kind of flush out? So a sealed cavity would be something maybe like a ball joint. Even though you have a greasable ball joint, you're greasing through a sort of a socket that holds a like a ball inside of it, right? And you're greasing in between those parts. And so you're flushing around there, and yes, it's coming out, but it's coming into sort of the dust boot area in the ball joint. So you don't want to just keep greasing and greasing and greasing and pushing so much grease through that it bulges out and fills that dust boot and gets all over everything. So that would be more of kind of like a sealed cavity. Yes, you're flushing it out a little bit, but it's kind of contained. Now here, this is where the engine, the boat motor, tips up and down like this, right? So on most shafts like that, you've got a spot where grease can come out. So grease can come out here, okay? Or it also has some spots here where it can bleed out in the center. So it's okay to grease a little bit more there. Now you can see it coming out. So I'm just going to squirt once because I've already done this. But you can see how it's nice clean grease coming out. So I already did like 10, 15 squirts, which seems excessive, but it was pushing out so much old grease. So it's more of a grease flush than it is sort of just getting a bit of grease in there. So just want to talk a little bit about that. So when do you do 3-4 pumps? When do you do 10, 20, right? So you got to just kind of think, where's this grease going? Is it coming out where I can flush it out? Now, similarly, in here, okay, when I greased the other side, the grease nipple's right here on the other side. It was pushing a bunch of old, dirty grease out here. So you keep greasing and greasing and greasing till you get some good grease out, and then you can wipe that away on that shaft where it pivots. So is it a sealed contained unit where you don't want to blow apart seals and get grease everywhere? Or is it a shaft or something like that where you can kind of flush grease through and get rid of that old crap? Okay. My gearbox would be another example that you saw in the other video. That's a sealed contained unit. So I give it a few squirts, maybe about 10, so I can fill it up. But you don't want to keep going and going and going and blow out the seals.